Maybe our Lenten resolutions have collapsed, and we feel like we don't know how to keep going through the rest of Lent. Maybe some of us find ourselves feeling like a sad pug, and we kind of feel like this Lent has really drained us instead of energizing us in our spiritual life. So what do you do when you find yourself halfway through Lent and you feel like you haven't been able to keep your resolutions? Maybe you bit off more than you could chew, and you're feeling really discouraged. I'm going to give you a few tips. So what do you do if you find yourself halfway through Lent and you realize that you haven't really kept your resolutions? A lot of people at this point can get pretty discouraged, and they can think that all their efforts have become nothing. But I want to encourage you that if you find yourself halfway through Lent and you realize you haven't really been doing so well, you haven't been batting any runs in or anything like that, pick up where you are and keep going. God isn't up in the sky keeping a checkbox of how many accomplishments we do in the spiritual life. What God is looking for is relationship. Have we grown, and are we willing to grow in relationship with Him? That's the point of all the sacrifices that we make. That's the point of the time we spend in prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. It's to help us to grow in relationship with Him and with other people. So if we haven't done so well up until now, let's begin again. Let us start one more time in order to try to be more faithful to those resolutions. And maybe we need to spend a little bit of time in self-evaluation because perhaps our goals were a little unattainable. Maybe we said we were going to fast 3 times a week, or we were going to go to daily mass and pray the rosary every single night and make a holy hour 3 times a week. Or maybe we said we were going to give half of our paycheck to the poor. Perhaps most of you didn't make resolutions that were that lofty or intense, but maybe the resolution that you made wasn't too realistic. When you're a teacher, you have to make lesson plans. And part of making lesson plans is creating the student learning objective. A lot of teachers begin this with a phrase called TWISBOT. TWISBOT means the student will be able to. And you have to be able to articulate a goal for the lesson. It has to be something clear, something measurable, something that when you do it, you can say, yes, the students accomplished that, or no, they didn't. So if I said the students will learn about Jesus, that's way too vague. But if I say, by the end of this lesson, the students will be able to tell me the place of Jesus' birth and the significance of that place in terms of its meaning, Bethlehem, house of bread, reference to the Eucharist, Jesus being food for us, that's way more specific. But I can't have it be something so lofty that it's unattainable. I can't have my lesson plan say, by the end of this lesson, my students will be able to name all the books of the Bible in correct order, alphabetically in the original Koine Greek and Hebrew languages. You can't accomplish that in a 45 or 75-minute lesson. It's unrealistic. So maybe our lesson plan for Lent, our student learning objective in the spiritual life, has been a little bit unrealistic. So at this point, I would just encourage you, go back, reflect, evaluate what you said you were going to do. If you've done well, keep going. If you haven't done well, stop and ask yourself, how can I modify this? How can I make it measurable and realistic in order to be something that I can attain? And whatever it is that you choose, make it something that's going to help you grow in relationship with God and help you grow in relationship with others. Hopefully something that will carry out in your life way past Lent and transform you into a better person. And don't forget, be awesome.